Now, it sometimes trips me out when I meet two people who otherwise have a very similar background, might be from the same industry, and they ask me how to be successful. And typically they'll ask me, what marketing strategies do I need to be good at fill in the blank, X, Y, and Z? Whether selling their widget or their information product or getting a group of people in front of them for a seminar. Now, I'll give both of those people the same advice. What stops one person from taking action and becoming successful, and what helps the other person completely dominate their market within the next few months and become super successful? So I realized there's a difference in how unsuccessful and successful people think. And since I've had both processes happen to me, I used to be the guy who was, well, I was stuck in being unsuccessful because I was managed by two things, because there's only two things that cause people to be unsuccessful: fear and doubt. And here's what I mean by that. See, successful people, when they want to do something, if they don't know how to do that thing, they don't go, oh, well, I don't know how to do that, now I'll stop and go back to being unsuccessful. Instead, they either go buy the information, they find the information, they research for the information, they become good at it. They become the expert at that thing and apply that information until they get their desired outcome. See, unsuccessful people say, well, all right, I want to write a book. And they realize, gee, I don't know how to submit a manuscript to a publisher. Well, can't write a book. If I can't submit a manuscript to a publisher, I can't write a book. And they stop and they stay unsuccessful. The successful person says, I want to write a book. Gee, I don't know how to submit a manuscript to a publisher. They might do a Google search. They might go to Barnes & Noble and buy a book on how to submit to publishers. They might contact 5 or 10 publishing companies and ask them, what is the best, most effective way to submit a manuscript to you guys to increase my chances of getting published? And they may get rejected 9 out of 10 times. But until they get the answer that they want, they don't quit. See, it's fear and doubt. Fear of the unknown and doubt of yourself, right? Doubting your abilities and your capabilities to be able to take on new knowledge, absorb it, take action, right? I mean, you gotta have some balls to be able to do that. I mean, let's be honest here. Anytime you don't know something and you have to learn something new, well, learning it is one thing. Applying it and taking action to it is a whole other thing. And if you have self-doubt, if you don't believe that you deserve it, if you don't believe that you're worth it, you're gonna stop right there before ever executing it. I mean, think about it. How many people do you know who are full of useless knowledge? Only reason it's useless knowledge is because they have yet to take action on it. As soon as they took action on it, they'd make more money, they'd be more successful, they'd help more people, and we'd have a better society. But instead, they doubt themselves and they doubt their abilities and capabilities and they stop. Successful people, on the other hand, don't. They still have the fears and doubts. The difference is they acknowledge that those fears and doubts are there. They realize that they were meant to be successful. They have self-esteem, and they move on to that next step of not only gathering the information and knowing it, but also doing something about it. Now, if you know anything about Richard Branson, and if you ever read his book, you'll know that when he started Virgin Records, his recording company, it was the biggest uphill battle ever. He literally broke the mold in every single way. He broke the way contracts are written for artists just so he can win Janet Jackson and get a famous name like Janet Jackson onto his label. Instead of tying her into 10 years and 4 records, he said, look, you've got an open-ended agreement with me. If we have a good deal and we have a good vibe together, you can stay with me and we'll make another record. If not, you're free to leave. And he went completely against the grain and he won Janet Jackson. And that was the turning point for Virgin Records and for his label. what he had to do, and he took action even though he knew that his odds of failure were great. And in fact, before signing Janet Jackson, there were 4 other big names that he wanted to sign that he lost millions of dollars on while trying to lobby and win them onto his record label. See, no one ever talks about their failures, but I promise you, every successful person has had multiple failures. I've gone literally broke by putting 2 credit cards together, buying a whole bunch of supplements, and trying to sell supplements online by stuffing a whole bunch of supplements in my spare bedroom, hoping that I could sell them on the internet. This was back in 1999, before Google really was around to help with search engine optimization. I could have stopped and I could have gone back into the gym and become a personal trainer, or I could have said, I'm going to make this internet business thing work if it kills me. That's exactly what I did. I got pretty close to dying several times. I remember pulling many late-nighters. I remember trying to learn how to be a software programmer so that I can create an online software program and launch it. When I realized software programming wasn't for me, I found a way to max out my credit cards again to get my first software program online and selling where I could start making money. So understand that if you don't have the capabilities, you could buy it, you can seek it out, you could get that knowledge from a bookstore, from the internet, from a mentor somewhere. But once you get that knowledge, man, you've got to do something with it. You got to take action. And when you fail, and you will fail, the road to success means that you've got to get back up and take action again until you find the thing that works. And that is the only difference between how successful people think and how unsuccessful people think.